The battle was over. Sergeant Mason Cole limped through what was left of the military base. Smoke filled the air. Bodies of soldiers lay on the ground. Some were his friends. Mason touched the wound on his arm. It hurt, but he would live. More than he could say for many others. Night was coming to the planet Kepler 438b. Mason had been fighting here for 3 months. The enemy aliens called Vraxians had attacked without warning. They wanted the rare minerals on this planet. Earth forces had tried to stop them. Mason looked up at the strange purple sky. 2 moons were rising. He was far from home and very alone. His radio made static sounds. No one was answering his calls. "Hello? This is Sergeant Cole. Anyone copy?" he said into his radio again. Nothing came back but crackling noise. Mason checked his weapon. Only a few bullets left. His food and water would last maybe 2 days. He needed to find other survivors. As he walked through a valley, something caught his eye. A bright flash on the hillside. Mason raised his gun and moved carefully toward what he found was not what he expected. It was not a Vraxian ship or an Earth vessel. This ship was different. It shined with colors that changed like oil on water. The metal seemed alive somehow. It had crashed, making a long cut in the earth. Mason touched the side of the ship. It felt warm. Suddenly, a door slid open. He jumped back, pointing his gun. But no one came out. "Hello?" he called. His voice echoed inside the strange ship. Mason made a choice that would change everything. He stepped inside. The inside of the ship glowed with soft blue light. It was clean and smooth, not like the bulky military ships he was used to. The air smelled like flowers and rain. He found her in what looked like the control room. A woman, but not human. She lay on the floor, not moving. Her skin was pale white but seemed to shift colors slightly. Her hair was silver white and moved, gently as if floating in water even though there was no wind. Mason knelt beside her. She was breathing. His scanner showed she was hurt, but would live. Her face was beautiful in a strange way. She had high cheekbones and a small nose. Her ears were slightly pointed. She wore a silver circle on her head with small glowing stones. Mason knew he should report this. Finding an unknown alien species was big. But something stopped him. The Vraxians would kill her if they found her. His own commanders might lock her up for study. Something about her made him want to protect her. He used his medical kit to treat her wounds. As he worked, her eyes opened. Mason froze. Her eyes had up and down pupils like a cat's. They changed color from green to blue as he watched. "You saved me," she said in perfect English. Her voice was like music. Mason fell back in surprise. "You speak our language? We have studied your people for many years," she said, trying to sit up. She winced in pain. "Don't move," Mason told her. "You're hurt." "I am Nylaria Zeth Val, 3rd Princess of the Luminary Collective," she said. "My ship was damaged when I entered your battle zone." "I'm Sergeant Mason Cole, Earth Defense Force," he replied. "What are you doing in a war zone?" Nylaria looked at him with those strange, beautiful eyes. "I came to warn your people. The Vraxians have built a weapon that can destroy entire planets. They plan to use it on Earth if you don't surrender this world to them." Mason helped her sit up. "Why would you warn us? What do your people have to do with our war?" "The Luminari watch all developing species in this part of the galaxy. We do not interfere, but—" She paused. "I could not watch millions die when I could prevent it." "Your people won't be happy you broke the rules," Mason said. Nylaria touched the silver circle on her head. "No, they will punish me severely, but it was my choice." She tried to stand but fell forward. Mason caught her in his arms. When their skin touched, a strange feeling went through him like electricity, but pleasant. Nylaria looked shocked. "What was that?" "You felt it too?" Mason asked. She nodded, looking worried now. "It is the beginning of a bond. By saving my life and touching me with kindness, you have activated an ancient protocol of my people." When a royal luminary is saved by another species, a life debt is created. A life debt? What does that mean? Mason asked. It means I am bound to you now. My life is your gift. Her eyes showed both worry and wonder. This has not happened with a human before. The bond will grow stronger. We will begin to feel each other's emotions, then thoughts. Mason heard sounds outside. Braxian scout ships. We need to hide. Can you walk? I think so, she said. Mason helped her to her feet. What about your ship? It will self-repair, but it needs time. Days, perhaps. They left the ship, and Mason covered the entrance with branches. Night had fallen completely now. The two moons lit their way as Mason led Nylaria to a cave he knew about. Inside the cave, Mason made a small fire. Nylaria sat across from him, the firelight making her skin glow with changing colors. Why did you help me? She asked. Your military would want to study me and my ship. Mason thought about it. I'm tired of this war, tired of following orders that get people killed. Something told me you were important, that helping you was the right thing to do. Nylaria smiled. It was the most beautiful thing Mason had ever seen. The bond chose well, she said softly. Mason felt something warm in his chest that wasn't there before. A feeling of connection to this strange, beautiful alien woman. Whatever came next, his life would never be the same. 3 days passed in the cave. Mason and Nylaria learned about each other. Nylaria told Mason about her world. The Luminari were an old race. They had traveled among stars for thousands of years. They watched younger races grow, but rarely made contact. My father, Emperor Thaxus, leads our people, Nylaria said. He believes we should only watch, never touch. But I think that is wrong. Some races need help. Mason shared stories about Earth. He told her about oceans and mountains, about cities with tall buildings, about his home in a place called Colorado where trees grew tall and snow-covered mountains. It sounds beautiful, Nylaria said. I would like to see it someday. Maybe you will, Mason said. But he wasn't sure how that could happen. He was stranded on this planet with little hope of rescue. On the 4th day, Mason felt something strange, a wave of fear that wasn't his own. He looked at Nylaria. You felt that, she said. It wasn't a question. Your fear, Mason said. How? The bond grows stronger, she explained. Soon we will share more than feelings. The bond is changing us, both. That night, Mason woke up with a start. Nylaria was standing at the cave entrance looking at the sky. What's wrong? He asked. My ship has finished its repairs, she said. I can sense it. And more. There is a human ship coming. Your people survived the battle. Mason felt hope for the first time in days. That's good news. Nylaria turned to him. Her face was sad. If they find me, they will take me away to study me. My people will detect my presence on your world. They will come for me. There will be conflict. Mason understood her worry. Then we need to get to your ship first. You can leave before my people find you. Nylaria touched his arm. The now familiar, warm feeling spread between them. If I leave, the bond will cause us both pain. Separation is difficult once a bond has formed. What are you saying? Mason asked. You could come with me, she said softly, but you would leave your world behind. Mason thought about his life on Earth. His parents had died years ago. He had no wife or children. His friends were fellow soldiers, most now dead on this planet. Or I could stay, Nylaria continued. But my people would find me eventually. They would not understand. Before Mason could answer, his radio crackled to life. This is Rescue Team Bravo. Any survivors, please respond. Repeat, any survivors respond. Mason looked at the radio, then at Nylaria. He made his choice and picked up the radio. This is Sergeant Mason Cole. I read you, Bravo Team. Cole, good to hear your voice. What's your position? We'll come get you. Mason gave them coordinates to a spot 2 miles from the cave. He looked at Nylaria. We need to go to your ship now. I have a plan. They traveled quickly through the night forest. Nylaria's ship looked different now. The damage was gone. It glowed softly in the darkness. It's beautiful, Mason said. It is alive in its way, Nylaria explained. A mix of technology and biology. Inside, the ship hummed with energy. Lights flickered across control panels. Nylaria touched a crystal panel and the ship responded with musical tones. What's your plan? She asked. I'll go meet the rescue team, Mason said. I'll tell them I'm the only survivor I know of. Once they take me to the main ship, I'll find a way to come back for you. We can figure things out from there. Nylaria looked doubtful. The bond, it will be painful if we are apart. How painful? Mason asked. Like part of you is missing. A constant ache. The farther apart we are, the worse it becomes. Mason took her hand. I can handle it. Can you? She nodded slowly. I will try. Mason started to leave, but Nylaria stopped him. She removed the silver circlet from her head and placed it in his hands. Take this. It will help ease the pain of separation, and it will let me find you anywhere. Mason carefully put the circlet in his pocket. I'll come back for you. I promise. Nylaria smiled. I know you will. The bond tells me your heart is true. Mason walked through the forest to the meeting point. A small shuttle was waiting. 2 soldiers ran out when they saw him. Sergeant Cole. Thank God, one said. It was Samantha Green, a pilot he knew. Anyone else with you? Asked the other soldier, a man named Paul. No, Mason lied. Just me. They took him to the shuttle. As they lifted off, pain shot through Mason's chest. It felt like his heart was being pulled back toward the ground, toward Nylaria. He touched the circlet in his pocket, and the pain eased slightly. The shuttle docked with a large ship in orbit. The USS Valiant had survived the battle. Captain Linda Morgan greeted Mason when he arrived. Sergeant, good to have you back, she said. We thought we'd lost everyone on the ground. Almost did, ma'am, Mason said. What's our status? We're heading home, Captain Morgan said. The Vraxians pulled back 3 days ago. No idea why, but we're not questioning our luck. Mason thought of Nylaria's warning about the planet-killing weapon. Maybe that's what the Vraxians were preparing to use. How soon do we leave? He asked. 12 hours, the captain said. We're picking up the last survivors. Mason was taken to the medical bay. Dr. Olivia Winters checked his wounds. You're healing remarkably well, she said, looking at her scanner with confusion. These wounds look weeks old, not days. Mason said nothing. Was the bond with Nylaria healing him? And your cellular structure shows some unusual changes, Dr. Winters continued. Have you been exposed to any unknown substances? Just standard battle conditions, Mason lied. Dr. Winters looked suspicious but didn't push. Get some rest, I want to run more tests later. In his quarters, Mason felt the pain growing. Nylaria was far below on the planet. He needed to get back to her before the ship left. He touched the circlet again and closed his eyes. Suddenly he could see through Nylaria's eyes. She was in her ship, looking at strange symbols on a screen. He could feel her loneliness and pain. Nylaria, he whispered. She looked up as if she'd heard him. Mason, how is this possible? Somehow they were communicating through the bond. Mason concentrated. I'm on the ship above the planet. We're leaving in 12 hours. I need to get back to you. No, her voice came into his mind. I will come to you. My ship can reach yours, but I will need to make it invisible to your people. How will you find me? Mason asked. The circlet connects us. I will always find you. Mason opened his eyes. The pain was less now. He had a new hope. Nylaria was coming to him. But how would he hide an alien princess on a military ship? And what would happen when they reached Earth? He looked out his small window at the stars. Somewhere out there was Nylaria's home. And somewhere the Vraxians were planning their next attack. The bond had connected him to something much bigger than one battle on one planet. Whether he was ready or not, Mason was now part of a galactic story. Mason woke to alarms blaring throughout the ship. Red lights flashed in his small room. He jumped out of bed and grabbed his uniform. "All hands to battle stations," came Captain Morgan's voice over the speakers. Unknown vessel approaching. Mason knew it was Nylaria. She had come for him, but the ship's crew saw her as a threat. He had to get to the bridge fast. Running through the corridors, Mason felt the pain in his chest fading. Nylaria was getting closer. Other soldiers rushed past him, heading to their stations. No one paid attention to Mason as he took a different turn toward the bridge. Captain Morgan stood at the main viewport when Mason arrived. Officers worked frantically at their stations. "What is it?" Mason asked a nearby officer. "Some kind of ship just appeared out of nowhere," the woman said. "Never seen anything like it." On the main screen, Mason saw Nylaria's ship. It glowed with shifting colors against the blackness of space. Much smaller than the USS Valiant, it still somehow looked more advanced. "It's not responding to hails," reported the communications officer. "No signs of weapons charging, but it's approaching steadily." "Prepare to fire warning shots," Captain Morgan ordered. "No," Mason shouted. All eyes turned to him. Captain Morgan frowned. "Sergeant Cole, you're not authorized to be on the bridge during alert status." "Captain, please," Mason said. "That ship isn't hostile. I know what it is." "Explain yourself." "Sergeant," the captain demanded. Mason took a deep breath. "When I was stranded on the planet, I found that ship crashed. There was a survivor. An alien, but not Vraxian. She's peaceful. She saved my life." The bridge went silent. Captain Morgan stepped closer to Mason. "You had contact with an unknown alien species and didn't report it?" Her voice was dangerously quiet. "She came to warn us about a Vraxian superweapon." Mason continued quickly. "That's why they pulled back. They're preparing to use it against Earth." The tactical officer spoke up. "Captain, the alien vessel has matched our speed and trajectory. It's just sitting there now, about 500 meters off our port side." "Captain," Morgan studied Mason's face. "If you're lying to me, Sergeant, you'll face court-martial." "I'm not lying," Mason said. "Please, let me talk to her." After a long moment, the captain nodded. "Open a channel." The communications officer worked his controls. "Channel open. This is Captain Linda Morgan of the Earth vessel USS Valiant. Identify yourself." The screen flickered, and Nylaria's face appeared. The bridge crew gasped. Her otherworldly beauty and clearly alien features were shocking to them. "I am Princess Nylaria Zethval of the Luminary Collective," she said. Her voice was calm and musical. "I mean no harm to your vessel or crew. I have come for Sergeant Mason Cole." Captain Morgan looked at Mason with new suspicion. "Why? We share a bond," Nylaria explained. "It is difficult to translate to your language. But we are connected now. Separation causes pain to us both." Dr. Winters had entered the bridge in time to hear this. That would explain the anomalies in his cellular structure. Captain Morgan turned to the doctor. "What anomalies?" "His cells are changing," Dr. Winters said. "Becoming something not quite human." Mason felt all eyes on him. He could sense Nylaria's concern through their bond. "Captain," Mason said, "I know this sounds crazy, but Nylaria came to help us. The Vraxians are planning something big. We need her knowledge." Captain Morgan was silent for a long moment, then she made a decision. "Princess Nylaria, I invite you aboard our vessel for diplomatic talks. We will not detain you against your will." Nylaria bowed her head slightly. "I accept your invitation, Captain." 20 minutes later, Nylaria stepped onto the USS Valiant. Marines stood guard, weapons ready but not pointed at her. Her silver-white hair moved gently as if underwater. Her skin shifted colors slightly with each breath. She wore a simple white dress that seemed to glow from within. When she saw Mason, she smiled. The pain in both of them vanished completely. "Captain." Morgan led them to the conference room. Dr. Winters, Security Chief Ben Harris, and First Officer Grace Taylor joined them. "Now," Captain Morgan said once they were seated, Explain everything, starting with this bond. Nilaria explained the life debt tradition of her people, how saving a royal luminary created a biological connection that grew stronger over time. It has never happened with a human before, she said. The bond is changing both of us in ways I cannot predict. Is it dangerous? Dr. Winters asked. Not dangerous, no, Nilaria said, but powerful. Already we can share thoughts over distance. Soon we may share abilities as well. What abilities? Chief Harris asked, looking concerned. Nilaria hesitated. The Luminari have certain capabilities that humans do not. Enhanced healing, extended lifespan, some limited manipulation of energy fields. You mean like magic? First Officer Taylor asked with a skeptical look. Not magic, Nilaria said. Science your people do not yet understand. Captain Morgan brought the conversation back to the main issue. You mentioned a Vraxian superweapon. Tell us about that. They call it the World Breaker, Nilaria said. It creates a chain reaction in a planet's core, causing it to destroy itself from within. They plan to use it on Earth if you do not surrender all claims to the outer colonies. How do you know this? Chief Harris asked. The Luminari have observed the Vraxians for centuries, Nilaria said. We have ways of gathering information without being detected. And why would you break your people's rules to warn us? Captain Morgan asked. Nilaria looked at Mason before answering. I believe it is wrong to watch suffering when you have the power to prevent it. My father disagrees. He would say this is the natural course of development for your species. To be wiped out? First Officer Taylor asked angrily. To face challenges and overcome them, Nilaria clarified. Or fail trying. The Luminari believe interference disrupts natural evolution. But you interfered, Mason pointed out. Nilaria nodded. Yes, and I will face consequences for that choice. The meeting continued for hours. Nilaria shared what she knew about Vraxian battle plans and weaknesses. The Earth officers were grateful for the information but still suspicious. Finally, Captain Morgan made her decision. Sergeant Cole and Princess Nilaria will return to Earth with us. Admiral Stern will want to speak with you both. Your ship can follow ours. As they left the conference room, Dr. Winters pulled Mason aside. I need to run more tests on you, she said quietly. The changes in your cellular structure are accelerating. What kind of changes? Mason asked. Your cells are regenerating at 10 times normal human rate. Your neural pathways are rewiring themselves, and there's something happening to your DNA that I can't even begin to understand. Mason wasn't sure if he should be worried or excited. Is it killing me? No, Dr. Winters said. If anything, it's making you more alive. But it's making you less human too. Later, in the quarters assigned to them, Mason and Nilaria sat close together. The pain of separation was gone, replaced by a warm comfort when they were near each other. What will happen when we reach Earth? Mason asked. Your leaders will want my technology, Nilaria said. My people will discover I have made contact with humans. They will send someone to bring me home. Will they punish you? Nilaria touched the spot where her circlet used to be. Mason still carried it in his pocket. Yes, she said simply. But the bond cannot be broken now. That will complicate things for them. Mason took her hand. Her skin felt warmer than human skin and slightly electric. I won't let them take you, he promised. Nilaria smiled sadly. My people have technology your world cannot match, but there is another option. What's that? We could leave, she said. Take my ship and go somewhere neither humans nor Luminari would find us easily. Mason thought about it. Leave Earth behind? Never see his home planet again? It was a huge decision. First, we warn Earth about the World Breaker, he said. Then we decide our next move. Nilaria nodded. Agreed. That night, as Mason slept, he dreamed of strange worlds with purple skies and floating cities. He saw vast ships traveling between stars, and he felt Nilaria's presence in his mind, showing him wonders he had never imagined. The USS Valiant continued its journey to Earth, but Mason knew his journey was taking him somewhere far beyond his home planet, somewhere among the stars with an alien princess who had changed everything. Earth looked small from the approaching ships. Mason stood at the viewport watching his home planet grow larger. Beside him, Nylaria was silent, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's beautiful," she said finally. "So blue. Wait until you see it up close," Mason told her. The USS Valiant entered Earth orbit. Nylaria's ship followed, drawing attention from Earth's defense platforms. Captain Morgan had sent messages ahead explaining the situation, but Mason knew there would still be panic about an alien vessel approaching Earth. "They're signaling us to dock at the orbital station," the communications officer reported. Captain Morgan nodded. "Tell Princess Nylaria to keep her ship in a holding pattern until we receive further instructions." As the Valiant docked with the space station, Mason felt nervous. How would Earth's leaders react to Nylaria? Would they see her as an ally or a threat? Admiral Catherine Stern was waiting when they disembarked. She was a tall woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. Her uniform displayed many medals. Her face showed no emotion as Captain Morgan introduced Nylaria. "Princess, welcome to Earth space," Admiral Stern said formally. "Your warning about the Vraxian weapon is appreciated, but we have many questions." "I understand," Nylaria replied with a slight bow. "I will answer what I can." "And Sergeant Cole," the Admiral continued, turning to Mason. "Dr. Winters has informed me of your unusual condition. You'll need to undergo testing at our medical facility." Mason felt Nylaria's fear through their bond. "Admiral, with respect, the Princess and I cannot be separated. The bond between us causes physical pain if we're apart." Admiral Stern frowned. "That's problematic, Sergeant. Our protocols for first contact with new species require isolation and controlled environments." "Then I must decline your testing," Mason said firmly. "Where she goes, I go." The Admiral's eyes narrowed. "That wasn't a request, Sergeant, it was an order." Mason stood straighter. "Then I resign my commission, ma'am." A tense silence followed. Captain Morgan looked shocked. Admiral Stern's face hardened. "Let's discuss this privately," the Admiral said finally. "My office, 10 minutes." As the Admiral walked away, Captain Morgan turned to Mason. "What are you doing? You can't just throw away your career." "Something bigger is happening here, Captain," Mason said. "I can feel it. This bond with Nylaria is important somehow." In the Admiral's office, tensions ran high. Admiral Stern sat behind her desk while Mason and Nylaria stood before her. Two armed guards waited by the door. "Here's the situation," Admiral Stern said. "Earth is potentially facing a planet-killing weapon. You've brought us valuable intelligence, Princess, and for that we're grateful. But we need more than warnings. We need technology." "My ship has defensive capabilities," Nylaria said carefully. "I can help protect your world from the world breaker. But offensive weapons, that goes against our most sacred laws." "You've already broken your non-interference laws," the Admiral pointed out. "To prevent destruction, yes. Not to help one species destroy another." Admiral Stern leaned forward. "The Vraxians started this war. They've killed thousands of our people." "And how many Vraxians have died?" Nylaria asked quietly. The Admiral had no answer for that. "What about this bond?" Admiral Stern asked, changing topics. "Dr. Winters says it's changing Sergeant Cole at the cellular level." "The bond is sacred to my people," Nylaria explained. "It has never formed with a human before. I don't know exactly how it will change him, but it is not harmful." "Not harmful?" "It's turning him into something not human." Mason spoke up. "Admiral, I feel fine. Better than fine, actually. My wounds healed faster. I can think more clearly. And I can sense things I never could before." "Like what?" the Admiral asked. Mason hesitated. "It's hard to explain. I can feel connections between people, objects, everything, like seeing the invisible threads that tie the universe together." Admiral Stern looked troubled. "That doesn't sound like a military asset, Sergeant. It sounds like a security risk." Before Mason could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the station. A voice came over the intercom. Multiple Vraxian vessels. Detected entering the system. All personnel to battle stations. The Admiral rushed to her computer. Show me, she commanded. A holographic display appeared above her desk. Dozens of red dots approached Earth. Far more ships than humans had ever seen the Vraxians deploy before. They're earlier than expected, Nilaria said. They must have completed the world breaker. Admiral Stern looked grim. Our fleet is scattered, across 3 systems. We can't gather enough ships in time. My ship, Nilaria said. It has technology that can help, but I need Mason with me. The Admiral looked at them both for a long moment. Then she nodded. Go. Do what you can. But Sergeant, remember you're still an Earth soldier. Always, ma'am, Mason replied. They rushed to the docking bay where a shuttle waited to take them to Nilaria's ship. As they flew toward the glowing vessel, Mason saw Earth's defense platforms activating. Small fighter ships launched from the space station. It wouldn't be enough against the coming Vraxian fleet. Inside Nilaria's ship, everything hummed with energy. Control panels lit up as she approached. What's the plan? Mason asked. My ship can create a shield around Earth, Nilaria explained, touching crystal controls. But not for long. Perhaps an hour. After that, the power crystals will burn out. Will that be enough time for Earth's fleet to arrive? No, Nilaria said. But there is another option. She turned to face Mason. With the bond growing stronger, you might be able to help me access deeper systems in the ship. Systems normally only available to full luminary. What do I need to do? Mason asked. Give me the circlet, she said. Mason took the silver circlet from his pocket and handed it to her. Nilaria placed it on her head. The small crystals embedded in it glowed brightly. Now place your hands here, she said, indicating 2 crystal panels on the control console. Mason did as she asked. The moment his hands touched the crystals, energy surged through him. He gasped as his mind expanded. Suddenly he could see the ship as if it were part of his own body. He could feel its systems, its energy flows. Through their bond, Nilaria guided him. Focus on the defensive matrix. See it in your mind. Mason saw it, a complex web of light and energy. With Nilaria's help, he directed the ship's power into this web, strengthening it, expanding it. Outside, a shimmering field began to form around Earth. It grew larger, encompassing the entire planet and extending into space. The first Vraxian ships arrived. They fired their weapons at Earth, but the shots dissipated against the shield. It's working, Mason said. Not for long, Nilaria warned. The power drain is enormous. Through the ship's sensors, Mason saw more Vraxian vessels arriving. Among them was a massive ship unlike any he'd seen before. It was shaped like a spike, its surface black and menacing. The World Breaker, Nilaria confirmed. The huge Vraxian ship began to power up. Energy gathered at its pointed end. They're going to fire the main weapon, Nilaria said. Our shield won't stop it completely. Mason concentrated harder, pouring more of himself into the ship's systems. Through their bond, he could feel Nilaria doing the same. Their minds merged more deeply than ever before. Together, they pushed the shield to its limits. The crystals on the control panels began to crack. The ship's lights flickered. We're overloading the systems, Nilaria warned. The ship can't take much more. We need to disable the World Breaker, Mason said. Can we use the ship's weapons? My ship has no weapons, Nilaria replied. The Luminari do not build warships, Mason thought quickly. Then we use the ship itself. Nilaria understood immediately. A collision course, yes, it could work. The energy matrix of my ship would disrupt their weapon. I'll set the course, Mason said. You maintain the shield as long as possible. Using his new connection to the ship, Mason programmed a trajectory directly toward the World Breaker. Then he took Nilaria's hand. We need to get to the escape pod, he said. They ran through the glowing corridors of the ship. Behind them, control crystals shattered as the ship's systems overloaded. The escape pod was small but large enough for two. As they sealed themselves inside, Mason felt a wave of sadness from Nylaria. "Your ship," he said. "I'm sorry." "It was alive. In its way," she said softly. "But it dies to save millions. A worthy," and the escape pod launched, shooting away from Nylaria's ship. Through the viewport, they watched as the beautiful vessel accelerated toward the world breaker. The Vraxian commanders realized the danger too late. Their massive weapon was fully powered up, ready to fire. When Nylaria's ship slammed into it, the explosion was blinding. A wave of energy rippled across space. Mason felt it pass through their small pod, making the systems briefly go dark before restoring. When they could see again, the world breaker was an expanding cloud of debris. Several nearby Vraxian ships had been damaged. The rest were pulling back, retreating. "We did it," Mason said in amazement. Nylaria nodded, but her expression was troubled. "Yes, but now I have no ship. And—" She touched her circlet, which had gone dark. "The connection to my people is broken. They will not know what happened to me." "Is that good or bad?" Mason asked. "I don't know," Nylaria admitted. "But I do know they will come looking for me eventually. The bond we share is rare and precious. They will sense it across the stars." Their small pod drifted in space. Earth's defense platforms detected them and sent a recovery ship. 3 months passed. Earth celebrated its heroes who had stopped the Vraxian attack. Mason and Nylaria were kept away from the public in a special facility in the mountains of Colorado. Scientists studied them. Military leaders questioned them. But they were treated well, given comfortable rooms and freedom to move around the base. The bond between them grew stronger each day. They could share thoughts without speaking. Mason could see through Nylaria's eyes if he wanted to. She could feel his emotions as if they were her own. Dr. Olivia Winters led the team studying them. She was kind but thorough. Today she showed them the latest test results. "Your DNA continues to change, Mason," she said, pointing to images on her screen. "It's not human anymore, but it's not fully luminary either. It's something new." "How is that possible?" Mason asked. "The bond is rewriting both of you at the most basic level," Dr. Winters explained, "creating something that combines the best of both species." Nylaria studied the images. "This matches old legends among my people. Stories of bonds that created new life forms." "What new abilities have you noticed?" Dr. Winters asked. Mason and Nylaria shared a look. They hadn't told the scientists everything. "Accelerated healing," Mason said. "Enhanced senses. Telepathic communication." He didn't mention how he could now move small objects with his mind, or how Nylaria had taught him to see the energy fields around living things. Some secrets were better kept. Dr. Winters made notes. "Admiral Stern is coming tomorrow. The Defense Council wants an update." After she left, Mason and Nylaria went for a walk in the facility's garden. It was a beautiful spring day. Birds sang in the trees. Flowers bloomed everywhere. "You miss the, stars," Mason said, feeling Nylaria's thoughts. She nodded. "I was born among them. Earth is beautiful, but it's not home," Mason finished. "Neither is the Luminary Collective now," she said sadly. "I have broken our most sacred laws, and—" She hesitated. "What is it?" Mason asked. "I've been having strange dreams," Nylaria said. "Dreams about my father, about the Luminary Council. But they don't feel like dreams. They feel like memories, but not my own." Mason had been having dreams too. Of vast crystal cities floating in space. Of ancient beings made of light discussing the fate of younger races. Were they sharing memories now? That night, Mason woke suddenly. Nylaria stood by the window, looking at the stars. "They're coming," she said without turning around. Mason felt it too. A presence in his mind. Distant, but getting closer. "Your people?" he asked. "Yes. A luminary ship has entered your solar system." The next morning, alarms sounded throughout the facility. Admiral Stern arrived earlier than planned, her face grim. An unknown vessel has appeared near Saturn, she told them. Much larger than Princess Nylaria's ship was. Our sensors can barely detect it, but it's there. It's a Luminary Council ship, Nylaria said. Likely sent by my father. Are they hostile? Admiral Stern asked. Not hostile, no. But they will want me to return with them, and they will not approve of my bond with Mason. Admiral Stern looked troubled. Can they break this bond? Not without killing us both, Nylaria said. The Admiral turned to Mason. And what do you want, Sergeant? Mason thought carefully before answering. I want what's best for Earth. If the Luminari can help us against the Vraxians, we should try to make peace with them. Even if it means giving up Princess Nylaria? The Admiral asked. Mason felt Nylaria's fear through their bond. No, he said firmly. The bond cannot be broken now. Where she goes, I go. 3 days later, the Luminari ship arrived in Earth orbit. It was enormous, at least 20 times larger than the biggest Earth vessel. It glowed with the same shifting colors as Nylaria's ship had, but more intensely. A message came from the ship, directed specifically to the facility where Mason and Nylaria stayed. Princess Nylaria Zethval, we have come to bring you home. Your father awaits your return. The message was delivered in perfect English. The Earth officials were impressed and frightened by how much the Luminari knew about them. What do we do? Admiral Stern asked in the emergency meeting. I will speak with them, Nylaria said. But Mason comes with me. They've requested a meeting on their ship, the Admiral said. I don't like sending our people onto an alien vessel we know nothing about. You have my word they will not harm us, Nylaria promised. Mason squeezed her hand. We go together. Small shuttle took them up to the Luminary ship. As they approached, Mason was amazed by its beauty. It looked like a giant crystal palace floating in space, glowing with inner light. They docked at a port that opened specially for them. Inside, the air smelled like flowers in the sea. The walls glowed softly. Music seemed to come from the walls themselves, a gentle melody that changed as they walked. Luminari guards met them. They looked similar to Nylaria, but wore armor that shimmered like oil on water. Their eyes were cold as they led Mason and Nylaria through long hallways. Finally, they entered a vast chamber. The ceiling looked like the night sky with stars that moved slowly. In the center was a raised platform where 3 Luminari sat on crystal thrones. The one in the middle was clearly Nylaria's father. He had the same shifting eye color, though his skin was paler. He wore a crown similar to Nylaria's circlet, but much larger, daughter, he said, his voice deep and musical. You have broken our most sacred laws. Nylaria bowed slightly. Father, I did what I believed was right. The Vraxians would have destroyed an entire world. It was not your decision to make, Emperor Thaxus said. His eyes turned to Mason. And this is the human you bonded with. Mason felt the Emperor's mind touch his. It was cold and powerful, searching through his thoughts like fingers through sand. Interesting, the Emperor said finally. The bond is stronger than any in our recorded history. Already you share abilities that should be impossible for a human. The Luminari to the Emperor's right spoke. The bond must be studied. Both subjects should be brought back to the collective. Mason didn't like the sound of that. With respect, he said, we're not subjects, and Earth is still at war with the Vraxians. We need Nylaria's help. The third Luminary, a female with silver skin, laughed softly. The human speaks as if he has a choice. How charming. Mason felt anger rise in him. The lights in the chamber flickered. Emperor Thaxus raised an eyebrow. Control your emotions, human. Your new abilities are still developing. Nylaria stepped forward. Father, there is something you should know. Something I've seen in dreams, or perhaps memories. What memories? The Emperor asked, suddenly alert. Memories of the Luminary Council discussing the war between humans and Vraxians, planning it, encouraging it. The chamber went silent. The Emperor's face hardened. Those are not memories you could have, daughter. They come through the bond, Nylaria said. From somewhere deep in our shared consciousness. Is it true, father? Did the luminary start this war? The female luminary stood angrily. This is outrageous. The human has poisoned her mind. But Mason could feel the truth through their bond. The memories were real. You've been experimenting with less advanced species for thousands of years, he said, creating conflicts to see how they develop, pushing them toward evolution through warfare. The Emperor's eyes flashed. You understand nothing, human. The universe is harsh. Species must be tested, or they will never grow strong enough to survive. Tested? Mason asked. Millions have died in this war, and billions will live stronger lives because of it. The Emperor replied coldly. This is the way of the universe, the way it has always been. Nylaria's mind touched Mason's. She showed him what to do. Together they reached out with their bond, touching the minds of everyone in the chamber, showing them the pain of the war, the suffering of both humans and Vraxians. The female luminary gasped. The other counselor put his head in his hands. Only the Emperor remained unmoved. Enough, he commanded. Power flowed from him, breaking their mental connection. You have grown too powerful, daughter. The bond has changed you too much. It has opened my eyes, father, Nylaria said. The Luminari were once a race of healers and teachers. When did we become experimenters who toy with the lives of others? When we discovered the truth of evolution, the Emperor said, that only through struggle does true growth occur. Mason felt something new through the bond, not from Nylaria, but from somewhere else. Other minds touching theirs. Hundreds, then thousands of them. What is happening? The female counselor asked, looking around in alarm. The bond, Nylaria whispered. It's connecting to others, to all the species the Luminari have manipulated. Images flooded through Mason's mind. Other wars on other worlds. Other races suffering while the Luminari watched. But also resistance. Species helping each other despite the Luminari's attempts to keep them fighting. Mason and Nylaria joined hands. Energy crackled between them. The chamber's lights pulsed in rhythm with their heartbeats. We offer a different path, Nylaria said to her father. Not evolution through conflict, but growth through cooperation. The Emperor stood. You cannot change what we are, daughter, what we have always been, but we can change what we will become, Mason said. Together they released the energy building between them. It spread outward in a wave, connecting to every mind on the ship. Through their bond, they showed a new vision. Humans and Vraxians, working together, sharing knowledge instead of weapons. The Luminari using their advanced technology to heal worlds,